for the Toronto Catholic Doctors Guild, and the Thomas More Lawyers Guild of Toronto. Sorry, there's a huge list of stuff I'm trying to cut down. He's a member of the Ethics Committee at various Catholic hospitals, and he's a professor of moral theology. Father Tom also keeps busy by acting as a media spokesperson and by keeping up several professional and organizational associations, including the Camping Life Coalition, Birthright, the Canadian Bioethics Society, and one of my personal favorites, the National Campus Life Network. In May of this year, Father Tom was elected to the position of National Director of Priests for Life of Canada, an organization of both clergy and laity that is dedicated to advancing human dignity in Canada. Speaking tonight on the future of the pro-life movement, please join me in welcoming an inspiring role model and a dedicated advocate for human rights, Father Tom Lynch.
Well, you gotta make do. There was a young man who got a phone call from his lawyer one day, and the lawyer said to him, "Boy, are you ever a lucky guy, because unknown to you, your long-lost uncle has just died, and he's left you and the only other cousin his entire estate. Now, the estate consists of a pineapple plantation down in South Africa and a tin mine down in Bolivia. You're the oldest cousin. You get to choose first. Which one do you want?" The guy said, "Oh, gee, I don't know. South Africa, South America, a tin mine, pineapple plantation." The lawyer said, "Hurry up. I'm a busy man. Make up your mind." Well, the guy says, "I don't know anything about farming. I'll take the tin mine." So he gets a deed to the tin mine and a one-way ticket down to Bolivia, and he lands down there in the airport, and the customs agent says to him, "Boy, did you ever pick a bad time to come to this country? We're in the middle of a revolution. They're shooting all the foreigners, confiscating their property. You better get out while the going's good." The guy said, "Well, I guess I should, but what am I going to do? What am I going to do? My plane just left." Well, the agent said there are 2 planes left in the entire airport. Now, one, it's a brand new 707, but it's just about out of gas. The other, it's a pretty rickety 1914 biplane, but it's got a full tank of gas. Which one do you want? And the guy says, "Oh, gee, 707, 1914, full empty." The agent says, "Hurry up, they're both out there in the tarmac, ready to roll. Make up your mind." Well, the guy says, "Okay, I'll take the old one, the tried and the true. We'll take the old one." So he races out onto the tarmac, jumps into the plane. He's the only passenger, and the pilot gets it up and out there, and they're out over there, the Caribbean, and the motor cuts out. And he comes running back with 2 parachutes. He says, "Quick, quick, quick, we're going down. Here's 2 parachutes. Which one do you want?" And the guy says, "I don't know anything about parachutes." Well, the pilot says, "This is a brand new parachute, but it's never been tested. This is a pretty old parachute, but it's always worked before. Which one do you want?" The guy says, "Oh, gee, tested, untested, new, old." The pilot says, "Hurry up, we're starting to spiral. Make up your mind." Well, the guy says, "No, okay, I'll take the new one this time. I'll take the new one." So he gets it strapped on, he gets the instructions, and he jumps out of the plane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10. Boom! Pulls the big ripcord. Nothing happens. Oh, and immediately pulls the big emergency cord. Boom! Nothing happens. But good Catholic boy that he is, he doesn't despair, and he starts to pray to his patron saint. He says, "Oh, St. Francis, St. Francis, come on, St. Francis, save me, St. Francis." And suddenly, out of the sky comes a giant hand that picks him up. And he says, "Oh, thank you, St. Francis." And from the heavens comes a voice, "St. Francis Xavier or St. Francis of Assisi?" The problem is always choices. And if you're going to have choices, sooner or later you've got to decide. One of the hardest things that we have to do within the pro-life movement is to decide. And we have to decide about what the future of that movement's going to be. And to decide what the future of that movement's going to be, we have to pay attention to those great philosophers of our time, the Spice Girls, who said, "Tell me what you want, what you really, really want." I have a lot of little nieces. But that's a hard thing to do. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. What do you want? What do we want from the pro-life movement? What do we really want to accomplish? And we need to be able to take some serious time to ask ourselves, what is it that we really want to accomplish? I think it's true that we necessarily are facing some extremely serious problems, and that's always been the case. In 1957, the year I was born, Archbishop Fulton Sheen said, "That's it, we're going to declare a moratorium on the use of the word crisis." Well, we haven't. And we've been in a crisis before then, and since then. The reality is that's true at any kind of human endeavor, that we have to be able to recognize that, yes, we are in a moment of crisis. We're here tonight, not just to be able to have conviviality and good time, but also to be able to do something very serious, and that is to be able to try to establish a culture of life and to fight against the forces of a culture of death. I would posit to you that it's a very complex battle. A very complex battle. And there's a number of things we need to be able to be fully aware of. One, we have a shrinking base, because the base of support for ourselves within the last 40 years has fundamentally been believing and practicing Christians, and by and large Christians who are from a strong Reformed tradition or who are practicing Catholics. And that base, as we well know, is shrinking. We need to be able to look categorically at the shattering of the political consensus in Canada. The shattering of the political consensus means that we can't just invest in one party, and we can't just invest in one way of thinking, small L liberal or small L conservative. We need to be able to look as well at how it is that our society has fundamentally changed. Francis Fukuyama, the very well-known American commentator, in his book The Great Disruption, summarizes it up pretty well. But one of the big things he says is that people don't commit today. Ask any woman over the age of 30 who's unmarried, and they know that. People don't commit, okay? The big C is in cancer, it's commitment. And one of the big problems is, as we well know, is that you can get people to go out for a Terry Fox run, but you can't get them to run the organization. Isn't that true? The hard part is people will help you out for a short time, but they don't want a commitment. As Fukuyama says, people want a low entrance fee and an easy exit strategy. A low entrance fee and an easy exit strategy. And a large part of that is because we are terminally busy. The reality of our busyness is all there. You gotta be busy. Isn't that true? Somebody says, "How's it going?" "Oh, I'm busy." If you're not busy, something's wrong. During the World Youth Days in Toronto, I had the chance of being able to go to St. Therese's Church to hear Cardinal Lustiger, who was the Cardinal Archbishop of Paris at the time. Brilliant man, Jewish convert, just an astonishing intellect. And he wasn't too well, and he spoke very softly, but I always remember in his magnificent French, when he stood there in front of this packed church of young people, and he started off and he said, "I was walking down the Champs-Élysées the other day, and the devil came up and spoke to me, and he whispered in my ear." Do you know what he said? Everybody went, "No, what?" But that's an opener, right? He said, "Jean-Marie, get busier. Jean-Marie, get busier." And that's the reality of our time. I'd love to help you out, but I'm too busy. And we have to be able to understand that that busyness is indeed a terminal busyness, because it is contributing strongly to the culture of death. I don't have time for this. I haven't arranged for this child in my life. I don't want to be able to be bothered. Don't give me the information. I don't know if you ever followed that cartoon, which finished up a few years ago, Calvin and Hobbes. Calvin's a little 6 or 7-year-old boy. He's a real terror. And he goes to his mother and he said, "You know that library book you made me read?" And his mother said, "Yes." He said, "It was quite a book. It was amazing. It just opened up whole new horizons. I mean, it changed my whole life." And the mother said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, don't give me another one." And that's the reality that we have, that people say, "Don't tell me about these horrible facts because it will be too much to bear." But we need to be able to look at those facts, and we need to be able to look at other facts too. It's 30